to. It's the only feature on this show that we've actually thought of a name for yet, and it's called... What are we calling it?
Mr. Coverman?
Mr. Coverman, or is it Mr. Cover?
Yeah.
Have you prepared a jingle for me?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
I was hoping you would have done.
Yeah, it's quite disappointing.
Can you just do it? Can you just do it live?
Mr. Cover.
Brilliant. It's almost racist. It's brilliant.
He is the Jade. He is the Jade.
Oh
I'm
no!
the Shumper.
Come on. Let's not bring up that nasty subject. Jade Goody. What is she? Has she still got her? Has she still got her perfume line? Incidentally,
You can't.
Has she still got it? Is that what it's called? Shh. Ignorance. By Jade Goody. Okay, so yes, cover, Mr. Mr. Coverman, whatever you want to call it. It's me playing a cover version. I love cover versions, particularly when they reinvent the original in a breathtakingly new way. And this is one I think you may not have heard, and if you haven't, then you will adore it. I hope. It is Mr. Ryan Adams doing his version of Oasis's Wonderwall. I absolutely love Ryan Adams, Mr. Ryan Adams. And you've always got to be careful when you're saying that, because ages ago I was in a bar and I was trying to chat up this particularly trendy girl, and it was very loud and the music was really pumping, and she said, what music do you like? And I said Ryan Adams, and she sort of went ashen-faced for ages, and I quite clearly realised that she'd thought, that I'd said Bryan Adams. And nothing wrong theoretically with Bryan Adams, although I'm always reminded of these lyrics from one Bryan Adams song. I don't want to name the song because it will perhaps give away these beautiful lyrics. Been around the world about 1,000 times. Still, a knock on the door makes me nervous. I think I'll see you standing there, but no, it's only room service. That's from the song Room Service by Bryan Adams. Oh, God bless him. Okay, so we were playing Mr. Mr. Coverman, that's Ryan Adams, Wonderful, it's a beautiful song. If you disagree, you're a maniac. But the really important information is to discover which of these guys is going to get voted off the Steve Show, never to return. Yeah, I decided that. I just decided that, yeah, because both of you, I'll be honest with you, I was a little underwhelmed by all of your choices today, and I wonder if you need to... Yeah, no, you should look a bit disappointed with yourself.
Well, we didn't like your music that much.
So what does that matter? It's my show.
Yeah. He's got us there.
I've turned. He's got us. There really is. I'm trying to create that kind of Big Brother atmosphere because it's obviously everyone's talking about it. So I'm thinking if there's a tension and an anger in this place, if there's kind of nervous energy.
Well, if I get voted off, which is almost inevitable after your incredibly biased introduction, can I still live as your tenant, or do
you
I
can still live as my tenant?
Okay.
But also, what I'm hoping is we'll have to clear out the crowds that are normally outside the building waiting for us, because after your choices, there'll almost certainly be a lynching of some kind. Yeah. Okay, so do we have a result, Jude? What was the answer? Who has won?
Harry.
Hooray! Deservedly so.
I'm not applauding.
So
I'll go on.
So Dan's been voted off. Thanks, Dan.
Well, I've enjoyed my couple of weeks.
We'll have one of those quick cursory Davina style interviews. How did you find your time in the Steve Show?
Well, it was incredible being in the spotlight like that. It was amazing. But I really, really loved it, and I feel like I've learned so much about myself.
You learned something about yourself. What have you learned?
Yeah. I've learned that nobody likes my music.
Yeah. And interestingly, by extension, you.
Yeah, because music is an extension of myself. So, I had a few personality clashes, most obviously with Harry, but, I don't wish him any ill will. And
there was a lot of laughs, Dan. There were also quite a lot of tears.
Yes, there were laughs and tears. But, the public's spoken, and what can I say?
Dan, let's have a listen back to some of your best bits. Oh, no, we can't. There weren't any. That's the sad truth. No, I'm sure we'll try and persuade Dan to come back at some point, but maybe we won't let him bring his record collection. All right, well, that's pretty much it from the Steve Show. Thank you so much indeed for listening. Oh, hang on. Oh, answer. Sorry. Yes, do you know what? I was so disinterested because it's so difficult. I mean, I don't know what kind of a maniac answers these questions. They're so hard. I don't even know why we came up with this idea for a feature. I love it, really. Okay. Let's hear the question and the answer then from Richard.
So I asked you, which two American bands of the 1960s were both originally called the Warlocks? Ooh. The answer is both the Velvet Underground and the Grateful Dead in their early days called themselves the Warlocks. Did you know that?
No, of course I didn't. Of course I didn't, because I go out sometimes and meet real people. Okay, so we Jean and Dan and Rob and Jenny all got that answer right. You are all massive nerds, but I'm actually going to give the prize this week to Morph. And I say prize, the only prize really is to be crowned the Steve Show biggest loser. And no, of course I appreciate you getting in touch. And yeah, it's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. Oh dear. Okay, so there'll be another of those impossibly difficult questions next week. Plus, we'll also be catching up with Dave again. Maybe I'll have some slightly different guests next week. Dan and Harry, I'm sure, will join me, but I'll maybe bring in some other blood and see what music they bring in. Plus, hopefully, some more listeners. If it's what do we do? They go to the website, don't they? Yeah, you go to the website and you'll follow my face, and I'm sure you'll find a way of voting for tunes. So thanks for listening. So I'm just getting bored now. Let's just play the final tune. You know, we've had a decent show, but let's not ruin it by any more bad links like this one. Stuart McConey's next with the Freak Zone, and I will see you again next week. This is Hot Chip. I started something I couldn't finish by the Smiths from their final studio album, Strange Ways Here We Come. It's Steve Merchant on Six Music. Good afternoon to you on this delightful Sunday. Just trying to sound a bit more like a DJ, because a few people have criticised my manner as not perhaps being DJ enough. So I'm going to be trying to talk a bit more like that to today's show. Thanks very much for listening. But I started the show with the Smiths because that was actually the album that I think really got my love of music going. And my parents used to take me to a lot of car boot sales when I was a kid, to sort of let me choose my Christmas present or whatever. And I remember I never really was into music. I didn't particularly know much about music, and I remember just flicking through some old vinyl LPs, and there it was, the Smiths, Strange Ways Here We Come. I'd heard of the Smiths. I'd never really listened to their music. I bought it for 25p. It was a bargain. Original vinyl, still got that. And I listened to it, and it sort of changed my whole view of music. It really kind of blew my mind, and as Morrissey would sort of say, he said something to me about my life. So that's that's why I play that today. And this show, in a sense, is very much like a car boot sale. It's open to all. Everyone's welcome. Maybe you're a sort of music know-it-all. You just want to kind of cruise around, just rummage through some of the obscure tracks that we occasionally drop in. You're welcome. Maybe you're a casual music listener. You've not really listened to much stuff before. You just want to have a look around and see if there's anything that takes your fancy. So you're all welcome, and maybe you'll find something like that Smiths album that really delights you and opens up a whole new avenue of music exploration for you. And as always at a car boot sale, there's always a couple of slightly shifty looking guys trying to flog some old VHS tapes and a couple of pairs of old shoes, plus probably some knocked off engine parts or something, and here those guys are. It's Dan and Harry. Round of applause in the style of Steve Wright, who I have to say is a big influence on me. And welcome guys. Are you Smiths fans?
A huge Smiths fan myself. I'm Dan, by the way.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, but what about
you're my
listeners?
flatmate.
Yeah.
Oh, please, who cares about that?
Yeah, I'm Harry the Smiths fan as well. Yeah,
Sure.
love him.
Okay, nowhere else to go really.
That's cleared that
I
one.
was hoping there would be some dissent, but there's nothing. So
How
fair
can
enough. It's going to be a thrill-packed show, guys. I imagine if you guys are in town, I imagine it will be. We have had lots of people emailing in at www.bbc.co.uk/6music and following my handsome face to my website page thing. And there you can suggest tracks to me, songs which I ought to include on the Steve Show playlist. Perhaps I don't already have them on there. Perhaps they're songs I've never heard before. And that's the whole thing about this show. It's very much two-way. It's a meeting point for music fans of all descriptions, coloured creeds and religions. And so we'll be playing choices that you guys have suggested a bit later in the show. Let's play some more music for now. We'll come back, we'll talk a bit more in a second. Released at the tail end of last year, that's a rather overlooked single actually by Circuits. Notice there's no the there, don't make that mistake if you're asking for it in one trendy record shop. Circuits, and a track called Say No, Say Yeah. Dan, what is the music policy on this show? When I use the words new music, Dan, what am I meaning?
What you mean is music that you've not heard yet.
That's right, but is it necessarily just me? Could it be the listeners as well?
Or anyone, yes, they're all involved. They're all invited to our potpourri of
nice use of potpourri. I was thinking about words like that the other day, and what exactly is a smorgasbord? Is it meat? Is it cheese or is it a series of cold meats? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
You can have either.
Can you?
But is it just a board? I mean, is that just the name of the board and you can put what you like on it?
Interesting. Maybe you... Is it German or Scandinavian of some kind?
It sounds Swedish to me.
Swedish? Okay,
Yeah.
if you are a Swede, or perhaps you know a Swede, then please get in touch and let us know what a smorgasbord is. Is it a board of a smorgas description, or is it the items on the board? It's very important we know that, because I want to misuse that in the future. I'm often describing things as that was a smorgasbord of great music, but I don't want to embarrass myself and use it incorrectly, because the Swedes are very violent and dangerous people. You don't want to upset them. So yeah, get in touch. How can people get in touch, Harry? If they want to email, what do they do?
Well, they can email on stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk.
Is that Stephen with a PH?
Surely everyone knows that by now,
You'd
Stephen.
hope so.
Yeah. Funny enough, a huge Steve fan, Joss, has emailed in to say that she saw you in the Hawley Arms last night, and she asks, was there some kind of celebrity showbiz party going on upstairs?
Yes, there was, and she wasn't invited. That's the that's the world I live in. Remember that I may seem a friend on the radio, but in real life, ignore me. Walk on by. I do not want a conversation. If you want to, no, of course, come up and say hello, but don't expect a friendship. Just come up and have a quick chat, but keep it quick, really, because I'm a busy guy. I've got a lot of people to entertain. If people are out with me, they've invited me out, they're expecting some high-quality anecdotes. I've not got time to be chatting to you people. Okay, Dan, what's the text, if people want to text?
The text 64046.
I love that so much, I'm going to ask you to say it again.
Okay. I'm going to say it backwards. It's 64046.
Okay. Does it work backwards?
It does, yeah. It's a palindromic number. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, say it forwards.
64046.
I said say it forwards. That was
sorry, yeah.
Say it backwards then.
64046.
What we're doing here is we're just reacting to whatever's in our environment. We've already responded to an email. We've already had some fun with the text number. Who knows what's going to happen in this show?
BBC Six Music.
Nice little tune from an album called The Best Party Ever by a duo calling themselves Boy Least Likely To. If I'm going to be honest with you, the album is a little bit too twee to listen to in one sitting, but there's some cute tracks on it which are quite fun if they pop up on your iPod or other MP3 player. There are many brands available. Let's not forget that. Dan, I asked earlier, what does smorgasbord mean? Because I've often used that word incorrectly.
Yeah, I think it have been. Yeah, Peter in Brighton straight away on the text. His explanation is that it means bread and butter table in Swedish.
Bread and butter table?
Yeah, I don't think he's given us the full story there, because we still don't know if it's the board or the table or the
but what's
combination
what's a bread and butter table? But I mean, a table specifically for laying out bread and butter on?
Peter, we're slaughtering you here.
Yeah, Peter, frankly, if you're going to text in with that kind of misinformation, then don't bother. Do you know what? We don't even want you listening.
What I think we can say is safely is that you have been using it incorrectly, massively, for years.
Well, Steve, the text lines are absolutely buzzing with smorgasbord. Yeah, I think smorgasbord means an open sandwich topped with all kinds of delights, i.e. only the lower piece of bread.
What?
I know that.
Do you know what? I didn't like the fact that it began with I think. That sounds like someone again doesn't know what they're talking about.
Exactly, he's just winging it. But here's the sort of facts that we all know and love. Hi Steve, did you know that smorgasbord is one of only 2 Swedish words directly used in the English language? The other is, I'll throw that open,
ABBA.
It's ombudsman. Where would we be without an ombudsman?
Yeah,
but I still feel like we've not got to the bottom of smorgasbord.
No.
What I like about this,
the bread and cheese ombudsman will be able to tell us what a smorgasbord is.
What I like about this conversation is it's exactly the sort of thing you could hear on any other radio station at any time, isn't it?
Dedicated to new music.
exactly. I still feel I've not got to the bottom of smorgasbord. I don't know when to use it, how to use it. Let's say I'm confronted by a table it's full of bread and butter. Would I say there, oh, that's a lovely smorgasbord? Would I be right in using that?
I don't know.
I think the mass ignorance have just reclaimed it to mean a lot of anything. I think if we just carry on using it in that context, we'll be fine.
Harry, I'm going to ask you a question now. Look me directly in the eye, give me a straight answer. Do we care about the meaning sufficiently to ask people to keep on texting in with the right answer?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Do we feel that if people really want to know, they can go online themselves, the lazy swines?
Absolutely. There's a whole world of information out there for them to look at.
Exactly. Thanks very much indeed. High five.
Cheers.
Okay. Now listen, obviously we are going to be playing tracks that you have recommended to me throughout the course of the show. We'll come to that shortly. But also I thought this was a good opportunity, because I've obviously played you a lot of new music, and when I say new, of course I mean music that you've not heard before, as opposed to brand new music that's only just been released. I want to clarify that's very much the music policy of the show, in case you've just joined us. But the point is this, that I'm also a bit ignorant on a number of different artists, and I embarrass myself constantly in music conversations by not being able to engage in conversations about certain artists, one of whom, for instance, is the Super Furry Animals. Now the Super Furry Animals, I know they have a huge following, I know that they are very, very popular amongst a certain cult audience, I know that they are are Welsh. I know there's a guy involved who's called Griff Rhys-Jones or something. And I know they've had certain songs, but I am ignorant. If you played me a Super Furries track now, I would not recognise it. I would not know it from a smorgasbord. So, I would like you to get on the text to email me, stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk, Stephen with a PH, or text 64046. It works forwards and backwards, same number, 64046, and suggest to me tracks that you would recommend if you were going to introduce me to the Super Furry animals. We will play one later. You want to win me over, you've just met me at a party, obviously it's Steve Mitchell off the telly, you can't believe your luck, you've met, perhaps maybe, I'm on my way to a showbiz do, and before I've gone through into the VIP area, I've stopped, I've had a conversation with you, I've picked you out from the crowd, I've said to you, I'd love to get into the Super Furries, what tune shall I listen to? So recommend one to me, please. The one tune that you would use to sell that band to me, stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk, or text 64046. Now, gentlemen, I know that we've had some musical duels between you guys in the past, and friction last week, and also some terrible songs